Yeah. So if I want to create the new objects, as we just now discussed, a class is nothing but what now? Class is nothing but it's a new data type. We are creating a new data type. Now, next very important thing is we should try to declare the objects of that data type. Whatever the data type we have created inside the class. See, as we just now saw that class, whatever you have seen here, it is nothing but when you write any class, when you declare any class, it is nothing but you are declaring a data type. You are declaring a data type. Next very important thing is we should create an object for this data type. Now, how to create an object for this data type? Always remember, creating objects of a class is a two-step process. That is, it involves two-step process, two processes. One is we need to declare the variables of the class type, which we called as instance variables. Okay, so once we declare the variables, then only we can access the class. Okay, so this variable itself will not define any object. So instead you can say that it is simply a variable. Using that we will be referring to the object. Okay, so we'll be declaring a variable. Next thing is we need to acquire an actual physical copy of the object. Okay, so this is nothing but we need to create a physical copy of the object. And how do you do this? This is done with the help of the new operator. This is done with the help of the new operator. Using new operator we can do it. Okay. Now, after creating a physical copy, what is the next very important thing? We need to assign the value to the variables. We need to assign it to the variables. Okay, so you can see here just now the example we have seen. So whatever this new does, what this new does is nothing but it automatically allocates a memory for the object. That's what we have seen even in the terms of your arrays. That is, it will be creating a memory for the arrays. Similarly, here it will be creating the memory for the object and it allocates it to the object. Okay, so it is dynamically done. It is dynamically done. So whenever we want to create an object, we can say how it is done with the help of this new variable. So whatever we have written here, the first statement, this statement, it is nothing but it is a combination of two statements. It is a combination of two statements. You can observe those two statements now, friends. It is nothing but the first statement is nothing but it is box, my box. So what it is doing here, it is creating a reference to the object. That is, box is nothing but my what now? Class. My box is nothing but what now? It's an object. Okay, so therefore we are creating a reference. After creating a reference, what is the next thing? We will be allocating the object. We will be allocating the object. How to allocate the object? Using your new, using the new word, keyword new. So the first line, what it is doing now? My box, it is creating a reference to the object of the type box. So once this line executes, my box will be containing a null value. Whatever the my box will be having, you can see here when this first statement executes, the value which your my box consists is, it is a null value. So after that, if we try to use this my box, once the first line is executed, and if I try to use the my box, then it will give an error. It will give an error. So we cannot use it. Why it is giving an error? Because it is having a null value in it. Because it is having a null value. Okay. So the next line, whatever the next line you have, that is this line. So this line will be allocating an actual object and it will assign a reference to the my object. So you can see here to the my box. So, okay. So this is my my box. So once this line has been executed, it will, what it will do now? It will be using my box as if it were a box object. So therefore it can access the variables which is there inside my class box. Okay, so the whole effect is being shown here. The whole effect has been shown here. If you observe it very carefully, what is happening when the first statement executes? It is being assigned to null. What is happening when the second statement is being executed? The object my box is being assigned to the class box, and thereby we can use the variables which are there inside the class box. Okay, so this is very important thing. Now how to assign the variables, how this assignment is done. Now before going into assignment, one small thing, that is a distinction between your class and object, as I have told this many times also. I'm just repeating it once again. So a class is nothing but it will be creating a new data type. As I told just now, the class will be creating a new data type. Where is my class? This is my class. This is my class. So it will be creating a new data type. And why do we create this class? So that the data type which this class has created, this could be used with our objects. That is the main reason for the creation of the class. So we can say that it works as a logical framework. It will be working as a framework using which we will be creating the objects. Now, when you declare an object of a class, what you are doing? You are creating an instance of the class. We are creating an instance here. When you declare the object, what we are doing? We are creating an instance of the class. So I'm giving you just the summary, okay. Now, after creating the instance, so this becomes a physical reality. So once you create an instance, it becomes a physical reality. If you don't create an instance, the class will remain as a logical entity. Okay. So this is just a recap in just 2 words, in just 2 sentences. Next. So we'll see how to assign the object using the reference variables. So if I want to assign the objects using reference variables, even that could be done. So even that could be done. We can assign the objects using our reference variables. And so always remember, object reference variables will act differently. Say sometimes they will act differently, and sometimes they may not act as per your wish sometimes. Okay, so we have to be very careful when we try to assign the reference variables. So please observe this first statement here. The first this is my first example. So if you observe the first example, what we have done is we have used box. So what is this box? This is nothing but the class. Next, we have created b1, which is nothing but your object. Next, new is nothing but the keyword which will allocate the memory. Next, again we have used the box. Box is what now? It is again the class. So we are trying to tell that we are creating an instance of this class box. Okay. Next, what we have done? Please observe here. We have assigned b2. We have assigned b2 to b1. We have assigned b2 to b1. That means what now, friends? Both b2 and b1 are pointing towards the same object, are pointing towards the same thing. Okay. So what is happening here then? That is nothing but we are simply b2, what it is doing? It is referring to the same object as b1. Both are referring to the same object. So therefore, if any changes are made to the object through b2, will also affect the object to which b1 is referring. So why is that happening? Why if any changes which b2 will refer will be also referred by b1? Why it is happening? Because both are pointing towards the same object, which is box object. Okay. So now let us say that do we mean that b1 and b2 are linked in any way? They are linked in one way, that is nothing but they are using the box object. Okay. Apart from that, they are not linked in any other way. Okay. But remember one very important thing, friends. This could be unblocked. Whatever the thing we have done here, this could be unblocked, which is been done by very simple statement. You can see here. So here what we are doing is we are unblocking your b1 from the original object. And how this is done? This is done without making any changes to b2. When I define b1 is equal to null, we are not making any changes to b2. b2 is still referring to your box object. But what is b1 doing now? b1 has been assigned to null. So you can see here, that means now b1 is referring to null, whereas b2 is referring to your box object. That means what now? We have unblocked b1 from your box object and we have assigned it to null. So this is, so what was the only logical construct which was joining your b1 and b2? It was nothing but your box object. Okay. You can say, like, say for example, I have the class cars. I have the class cars. Okay. And here I have 2 cars, say car 1 and car 2. How they are linked? What is class cars? Class cars is nothing but, you can say, you define that class cars, any object will be falling into class cars when it has 4 wheels. when it has 4 wheels. Now let us say that it's not possible actually. Let us say that car 2 engine has been removed. Engine has been removed and no longer it works as a car. No longer it works as a car. In such case, what will happen in such case? In such case, your car 2 will be removed from this box object. What is that? What was that box object, friends? It was cars. Now it falls in some other object. Why? Because it doesn't have an engine right now. It doesn't have an engine. Okay. So this is all regarding your objects. This is all regarding your objects. So if